In many workplaces, there are rules that are completely unspoken. Understanding them is crucial for success, and yet you won't find them in your employee handbook. Unless you're lucky enough to have a mentor or manager who pulls you aside to help, you just kind of have to figure them out on your own. Starting a new job can feel like starting at a new school. You're meeting new people, you're getting thrown into unfamiliar situations, and you're constantly wondering, what does everyone think of me? But whether you're starting your first job ever or just starting a new role, making a great impression doesn't have to be so scary. It all comes down to deciphering those unspoken rules and demonstrating what I call the 3 C's: competence, commitment, and compatibility. The first C is competence. On day 1, your new colleagues are probably looking at you and thinking, can you do your job? The way to convince others, not to mention yourself, that yes, you can, is to show your homework and to give others something to react to. Let's say it's your first day and it's utter chaos. People are forwarding you messages with nothing more than a C below at the top and pulling you into meetings without any notice or context. Your manager just gave you a task and 2 minutes in, you're already confused. Instead of going back to them right away and saying, I don't know what to do next, help, or doing what I did, which is not asking questions at all, think about a similar task that you tried in a previous job, in school, or just for yourself. What steps did you take then? Then make your best guess and just give it a try. Then go back to your manager and say, I'm working on X, and I'm not quite sure of what to do next. I've taken X steps and spoken to so-and-so, and I understand this part, but I'm still unclear about this other part. What do you think about this approach? No, I'm not suggesting that you fake it till you make it, but what I am suggesting is that you try until you can't try anymore. Time matters though, so give yourself a limit, and depending on your deadline, figuring things out on your own. Then ask, and then learn from what others tell you. It's your first bit of knowledge around how things work here. The second C is commitment. Besides looking to see if you can do your job, your colleagues are also looking to see if you're dedicated. During your first week in a new job, try asking your manager questions about expectations. My favorites are 1, what are my top priorities in this role? 2, how would you like to communicate day to day and week to week? And 3, what have your highest performers done that you'd suggest that I do too? For your peers, try to go more casual. In your first few days, your manager will be probably, or well, at least hopefully, taking you around and introducing you to your other teammates. In those moments, think about how you can transform some of those highs into conversations and then those conversations into relationships. One option is to ask how others' weeks are going. For those you really get along with, try involving them in your work and maybe even your life with phrases like, oh, I'd love to get your input on A, or could I get your advice on B? These can all go a long way in deepening a relationship. The third C, it's compatibility. Every time a new person joins a team, the others on it want to know, will you get along with us? By initiating conversations, you're already expressing compatibility. But while you're at it, use this time to try and identify who's in charge of what I call invisible swim lanes. Let's say you've just started a new remote job. First, ask your manager if there's an org chart. It's a diagram showing who reports to whom. And if there is one, amazing. But formal job titles and reporting lines can only tell you so much about how things really work. So when you're in meetings and group chats, pay attention. What's each person's role? Who reports to whom? Who's on whose side? Who commands respect? Which behaviors get rewarded and which behaviors get punished? Understanding these norms, loyalties, power brokers, and swim lanes is what people are really referring to when they say that it's important to understand a team's culture. And by the way, while you're mapping out these swim lanes, look around to see if there's any swim lane that might be unoccupied. Or in other words, what tasks might be available that aren't currently being done that can help your team accomplish more, better, faster, cheaper, safer, more securely. By doing this, you'll show that you're competent enough to spot gaps, committed enough to fill them, and compatible enough to not overstep. Here's the reality of starting a new job. Doing your job is only part of it. The rest is about how you get along with other people. But as much as we've been talking about others sizing you up, don't forget to do the same. Is this an environment where you can flourish and do your best work? Can you see yourself getting along with your coworkers? Is this even work you're excited to do? Every job is a two-way street. You can do well only if you want to do well and if you're set up to do well. So look around, reflect, and be honest with yourself about whether this is a good place for you.